Hey, yeah, what's up? This disciple Marcello Currents reign back up in this anti-Illuminati all day, anti-Freemason all day, anti-telepathy all day, anti-witch all day, anti-warlock all day, anti-psychic all day, anti-telepath all day, anti-gang stalker all day, and everybody with them. Yeah, yeah. So, um, this message right here is going to be about child marriage since 1957. Most American wars fought while America had child marriage laws. Most American wars fought while America had child marriage laws. I had to cover this and say this in plain English because now that we have the full portrait of how long America had child marriage since 1957, and remind you, when I say child marriage since 1957, that means it never stopped since 1957. So they never stopped child marriage since 1957. So it's always been child marriage laws here in America since 1957. It never stopped. In fact, the last child marriage law was passed 3 years ago. So what I want military to understand is you haven't been as honorable as you thought you was. Now have you? Well, yeah, you might hate this, but look, it's misplaced anger. That's the term for it. It's misplaced anger for you to be mad at me, for me to point out the obvious facts. Okay, you fought in a country that had child marriage the whole time. So let me go through the wars so that so it can register mentally through the Korean War, the Vietnam War, through all those wars. Vietnam, you had child marriage here during Vietnam, buddy. Hey, you get mad at me? Oh, listen, you the one made these laws. Okay? Okay? And what kind of man would you be if you could not accept someone telling you that your country that you fought for had child marriage in it the whole time? What kind of man would you be closing your ears to that kind of information? That's why I gotta do a video about it. What kind of man would you be to close your ears to that? What does that say about your character? Yeah, it says a lot. It tells us everything. That really you are not a country that cares about integrity. You just care about America for what it is, I guess. You don't care about what you actually do that's good or bad. You just care about this country being afloat, if you will. And it doesn't matter about what kind of means or the state that it's in. You don't care about none of that. You just care that it stays afloat. So this is for people that have integrity and people that don't have integrity. But it's more for people that do have integrity because I want to show you what you've been fighting for. I want to show you that the country that you believed in, that you thought was real, this is the information that shows you the real America. It was never that country. Sometimes I say two things at one time. It was never the country that you thought it was. And unfortunately, look, no one had nothing to do with it but America. You can't blame Russia. You can't blame China. China doesn't have child marriage. Russia does not have child marriage. You do. Okay? Okay? So look, hey, this is the information, and I gotta do a video about this too. This is the information that came out that everybody was expecting. We was expecting some top secret, keep it 100 with yourself. You was expecting some top secret information, right? You was expecting something to come out, right? Something that was hidden from you about this country. It never happened, did it? Now that we see the end of the world coming, approaching, what information came out? What information came out? This information. Yeah, this is the top secret information. All that, that conspiracy theorists lust after. No pun intended. This is the information that we all was looking for some type of information to show us who America really is, right? This is that information. And you should be glad that the world did not end with you believing in the country, going around here projecting themselves as child protectors. We're child protectors. And that was so far from the truth. They had child marriage since 1957. And the truth is, they've had it longer than that. Oh, I'm pretty sure. I'm just not, I'm going to check into that at a later time. I'm just going to go with what I do know for sure right now. But it's me knowing laws and everything like that. Me knowing laws, they've had it longer than that. They've had it, absolutely. Absolutely. They've had it longer than that. They've had it longer than that because laws that would be made in 1957 were probably from the 30s and the 20s even. It's probably all the way back then. My guess is child marriage was probably started from probably the 20s and the 30s. That's about right. Some would say longer than that because you had the age of consent at 7 years old in 1880 in the state of Delaware. So you had 7 years old as the age of consent. That's the world record, by the way. You as Americans have the world record as the lowest age of consent. Now, don't confuse the world record with the present lowest age of consent. The present lowest age of consent, I think, is Yemen, if I'm saying it right. The country Yemen at 9 years old. I think that's the lowest age right now. But you still top that with the world record at 7 years old in the state of Delaware in the year 1880. And look, listen, right and wrong is never forgotten. Okay? Integrity and the lack of integrity is never forgotten as well. Okay? And when we have all these other links to you still liking to play around children, you still like to play around children, right? We got the world record, and you just passed your last child marriage law 3 years ago. You've never had the age of consent at 18 in all 50 states. You had child marriage dating back to 1957. Through all the wars, the most famous wars, the most modern day wars, you've had child marriage the whole time while you was fighting for this country. So in other words, you was fighting for a country, whether you like it or not, that had child marriage the whole time. Do you need to know this? Because listen, do you want to live a lie or do you want the truth? Which one? As a military personnel, serviceman, what have you, do you want to know the truth or not? Of course you don't want to be blind. That's part of you being military, is you don't want to be in the dark about anything, right? So why are you playing like you don't want to know this? Why are you playing like this isn't informing to you, right? Like I'm doing something to you. Why are you playing like I'm doing something to you? You know what I mean? And then the same people will question your sanity, or people around us will question sanities. Okay? And my thing is this, man. You can't pass child marriage laws in a country that you groomed as child protectors and say you're sane. Well, you're pretty crazy to make laws that they disagree with, and they could rise up against you as a government. That's pretty stupid. It would have been one thing if they were groomed to be people that lust after children. That would be one thing, but that's not the case. The case is you groomed the whole community as child protectors, but yet you passed your last child marriage law 3 years ago. 3 years ago from now, in a whole country full of child protectors. That's pretty mentally sick to me, because they can rise up against you as a community. And you can't blame nobody but yourself. You can't blame nobody but yourself, bro. And listen, who you mad at, me or yourself? That's what I like to ask. Who you mad at, me or yourself? Okay, so, some people are stupid with their anger. They're so angry they don't know who to be mad at. Okay, you can't be mad at me. I ain't have nothing to do with it. You put child marriage in this country. It's been here since 1957. That covers all the wars, the major wars that you fought in modern times, and there's no one to be mad at but your community, your government, your politicians. Okay, and that's why this is a revolution, because at the end of the day, they can't even be mad at me either. Well, unless you just like one of those dark patriots or dark politicians that want to fight for America at all costs. But if you want the truth and you're real about the truth, you have to join my side. See, if we had a new America, Russia would be the first ally, because there's no real reason to fight against Russia. You can make up all the excuses you want, but the first ally of the new America is Russia. Okay? Sorry to tell you. Because ain't no reason that, I looked at it for what it is. It ain't no reason, it ain't nothing there, but all it is America is in competition with the up and coming, the second who's second to them as far as power. That's all it is. Who's next to them as far as power, basically. That's what it is. That's all it is. Because you can't really find, you as American community, what have you been told? What wars, what it really is that has made you say, I just hate Russia? What is it? What are the laws? What do they do? What is it? What happened to make you feel this way? It's just the fact that they're next in line for being the most powerful to you, which I believe they are the most powerful because of integrity. You have child marriage, they don't. Okay, so how you're greater than them and you have child marriage? Make it make sense. So by God's standard, who's more powerful, you or them? By God's standard, not your little rinky-dinky standard. By God's standard, who's greater, Russia or America? You have child marriage, you have gay marriage, and you think that God feels you're better as a nation? That you're God's chosen nation with gay marriage and child marriage? No, you took favor too far and thought you had something that you didn't have. You acting like, okay, you Christians are putting the favor that you might have on your life, you putting that on the country. You putting it on America. How they got it? How they got favor like that? Because you're here? Unfortunately, listen, there's rules and regulations that we all have to play by. And even if you're God's chosen ones, God has rules and regulations that we all have to abide by. Okay? And you can't be arrogant thinking that God is going to be with America at all costs. It's never happened. This has never been the case. I'm telling you that as a prophet of God, it's never been the case. Well, God just had mercy on the country just because. And they could just do what they want to do, and they don't have to stick by rules and regulations of righteousness and walk by in principles of holiness, but they just got God's favor. Nah, see, you making up stuff. They've had child marriage. They had child marriage the entire time. And then they run around talking about pedophiles. That's the most sickening and disgusting thing. Is the whole time they've been running around, they've been oblivious to the fact that they had child marriage, bro. Man, it's too unforgivable. It's too much of a letdown to a community. It's too much. It's too much. It has to be reset. It has to be. It's too painful. You see what I'm saying? You can't say, well, we'll change it. Nah. That's a reset, right or wrong. That's a reset, bro. It has to be a new society. It has to be. It has to be. Nah. You've had child marriage. Not only did you have it, with the progression of this campaign that I'm doing, glory to God, we find out that you had child marriage at least up into back to 1957. That covers the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. No one thought that through them years. So you as an American thought that. Stop lying. You may have known that there was a fluctuation in the age of consent. Yes. You may have known that, but don't be ignorant of the difference. The difference between age of consent is the age of consent is the age that a human being can say yes to an adult for sex. That's what that is. You didn't know anything about child marriage, where an adult can have sex 24/7 and be in a relationship with a child. You didn't know that was going on since 1957 here in America. No, you didn't. Half of you didn't. I would say more than half. Most of you did not. So it's safe to say, based on this, that you have not known the real America. No, you haven't. No, you have not. You have not known the real America. You've known the America that you thought we were, where you thought we protected children, where you thought the law protected children, and that's not the case. You see the difference? And it is a serious situation because it's family values that people, and it's a thing that people value. And these crazy maniac Americans are out here crazy for children. And so you can't act like it's something that they don't care about. It's too late to act like that. Look at all the stuff they've been doing. That's what I'm saying. So you can't act like I'm tripping. You can't act like that. You can't act like I'm the one tripping. No. No, you can't do it. I'm sorry. You can't act like I'm tripping because your country is the ones that's the maniacs out here blaming people for things they didn't do, out here exaggerating and changing narratives. And we find out they're guilty of the very things anyway. Anyway, when we find a cop down in Louisiana asking a woman to perform a sex act on her 1-year-old child. Go check it out. In Louisiana, black cop goes to a black mother and asks her to perform a sex act on her 1-year-old child. A black cop. Okay, what is that then? That's what I'm saying. And that's why it's the end of that institution called the police, American police. Come on. None of the American police said nothing about it. No, you didn't. You didn't take a knee. You didn't protest. You didn't ask for that man's resignation. You didn't ask for anything. What did you do? What did you do? What did you do when you found out about a black American cop asking a black American mother, go look it up, to perform a sex act on her child, and she did? This is in America. And you have stories that last how long in your folklore that ain't even real. But yet this went right away, didn't it? Oh, it dissolved pretty quickly, didn't it? Well, you ain't talking about it still, are you? In fact, you never talked about it. Well, I never heard anybody talk about this. Did you hear anybody talk about it? Where a child was, a 1-year-old child was sexually abused by his mother as a cop asked her to do it? A cop. Right here in New York, NYPD have sex with a 15-year-old girl. One of them got jacked off, got a hand job in the cop car that he's supposed to be serving you. The other cop, who they both had sex with the same girl, the other cop had her coming to his house 3 and 4 times. This happened less than 10 years ago as well. Both incidents happened less than 10 years ago. Man, listen, don't fight the feeling. It's over, bro. Because now you've contradicted yourself and your whole community didn't say anything about it, did they? Well, did we hear anybody protest about that 1-year-old child? That the cop, a black cop, you should have been protesting because it was a cop, like you always do. There go your cop stuff. You love to protest about these cops. Why didn't you protest as an American community about a black cop going to a woman's house to serve a warrant and wind up staying there for a couple hours? They found out he stayed there for a couple hours and made this woman perform a sex act on her own 1-year-old child. How come we didn't hear from your whole entire American community? That's what I'm saying. And that's the contradiction that's unforgivable. Because when we show you who did this stuff, when we show you who's doing this stuff, yeah, that's what God's kingdom is all about. Okay, you want to play that game? Let's show you who's doing it. And then we find nothing. We don't hear nothing from you. That's why it's too late, man. It's too late. Look, these stories don't get old. These stories don't get old if ain't no justice. If you didn't respond the right way, this story never gets old. I don't care. Listen, if you didn't do the right thing, it never gets old. Especially if justice wasn't served, which it wasn't when you didn't do the right thing. This ain't gonna never get old. And they still talking about what you doing anyway, ain't they? They still trying to talk about what we did. So why we can't talk about what they did less than 10 years ago? They talking about stuff you did, 30 years ago? And still ain't got it right when they talk about it? Man, come on. And then you let them play you like that. Think about it. They be holding, this community be holding stuff in folklore for 20, 30, 40 years. Then you tell them a cop less than 10 years ago asked a woman to perform a sex act on her 1-year-old child. Oh, they don't know about that. Yeah, that's for all them old neighborhood watch community women. Yeah, you don't know about that, do you? Yeah, you ain't good for nothing, are you? Sitting around all day. You a senior citizen. You a senior citizen. You should be the first one telling us about this. You watching the news all the time. With your old tail, how come you ain't told us about it? Old buzzard. You sitting up looking to get the you looking for the sketchy guy. Well, there's the sketchy guy for you. Yeah, it needs to be said, man, because it's them type of people. It's like these pious, self-righteous old people that sit up, like, you know what I'm saying, looking for sketchy people that don't look like the normal people for them. The people that they can't make it to your cookout. Well, he doesn't look right to make it to go to the cookout. What would Betty think? What would Betty think? Yeah, man, I ain't trying to hear that, man. I'm a real Christian, man. Listen, I lay down the law, man. I don't care how you feel about it. We are bold. Go look and see how Jesus was. He cleaned the temple. He took a whip and whipped people out the God's temple. He said, my Father's house will be a house of prayer. That's Jesus. And half of y'all would have said he lacked the fruit of the Spirit. Half of y'all would have said he wasn't a Christian. Right or wrong? Well, if I go up in the church taking a whip talking about my Father's house is going to be a house of prayer, what you going to think? You're going to call the police. That's what you're going to do. You're calling the police on me. That's what you're going to do. But the principle still remains the same when Jesus did it, right? That's what I'm saying to you. You got a picture of Jesus. I'm showing you what the Word of God says. Yeah, you got this image of Jesus that ain't even biblical. The biblical Jesus is there. The biblical Jesus took a whip and whipped people out the temple, out the church, the sanctuary, what you would call it. He said, my Father's house will be a house of prayer. That's what he said. Yeah, that's the real Jesus. You got all these fake Jesuses in your community in America, the ones that fit your fancy. That's what it is. And you got child marriage here, and you got all these people talking about child molestation, and you got a cop that told a woman to perform a sex act on her 1-year-old child, and your whole American community, including the neighborhood watch people, said nothing. NYPD have sex with a 15-year-old girl. Well, the age of consent here in New York is 17. That's illegal. That's the bottom line. I didn't ask you your belief in what you felt. It's illegal here in New York. Why they wasn't locked up and they only got fired? They only got fired. They did not get locked up. Last time I checked, unemployment doesn't stop a sex predator. Just because they're unemployed is not justice. Unemployment is not what solves the problem in that case. Yeah, when you want to talk about it, we're gonna talk about it. Who's really doing it? That's why I'm trying to show you. Listen. It ain't nothing that made me feel self-conscious to tell you about none of this. What it really is this, bro. You played a game that you couldn't win. You went up and questioned people's integrity. You went up and insinuated all types of crazy stuff, and we find out that you're doing everything. Okay, you want to talk about bestiality? What about Denise Frazier? Denise Frazier got found on 2 weeks ago? So you can go look it up. Denise Frazier, 19 years old, having sex with a dog on social media. Just 2 weeks ago. Just 2 weeks ago. Oh, you see how quick they ignored that? You see how quick that went away? See, that's America's trade hallmark reaction. That's their hallmark reaction. They sit back and they get quiet when they do something really shameful. That's how you know you got something. You know how you know you got something? Because they get real quiet when they done something real shameful. Oh, but they'll turn up on you, let you do something. They yelling and everything, right? When they think they got you, they yapping, ain't they? That's for the witches and psychics and warlocks. When they think they got you in a little mental thing, hey, they yapping, ain't they? That's what I'm saying. They ain't saying nothing now, are they? That's what I'm talking about. Denise Williams was having sex, being penetrated on social media by a dog. Oh, right here in America, right? That's all they need. That's all I need to prove is that you're doing it right here. Everything you talking about is coming to the light. All the things that you're so infatuated with, we're finding out you to be the one doing it. As an American community, it doesn't have to be everybody. Of course, everybody ain't gonna be doing it. It doesn't. So you're insulting my intelligence by saying, well, it's not everybody. I can't stand when people say it's not everybody. How's it ever going to be everybody? So that's never going to make sense for you to state that to me. A man of intelligence. Well, it ain't everybody. Well, so what? Is that your approach to child marriage in your country? Well, it ain't everybody marrying children. That's your final answer. Your final answer is it's not everybody. Oh boy, come on. See, that's a 7th hour. Your final answer is it's not everybody marrying children. That's your final answer. That's your final answer for judgment come, for your hypocrisy. That's your final answer. It wasn't everybody. If you were serious about this all, if you was about that life of protecting children and you really wanted a clean and decent community, you would have already been out protesting. But that's what I'm trying to show you. It shows us so much in this situation, who you are. It shows us who you are as a community and what you really are about. If you really was about this, then you would have been already downtown at City Hall talking about this child marriage. New York just got rid of theirs. Oh, yeah. You know how New York is a city slicker. They try to be quick on the draw. But they just got rid of it in March 2021. So guess what? You know what that means to a man like me that knows all these, have watched the pattern of these laws. That means that child marriage has been in the state of New York probably for decades. That's exactly what it means. And in fact, you can go look it up. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it means. If they just got rid of it, when do you think they got the law then? When do you think they made the law if they just got rid of it? New York just got rid of child marriage just to save face. That's all that was. Well, what made you get rid of it? Because I was coming into town. That's why. Yeah. But you wasn't quick enough on the draw to save your entire integrity. Because in all actuality, you did have it at one point. And I'm pretty sure that wasn't for 5 years. So you telling me, okay, they got rid of it in 2021, March 2021. You telling me they just passed a child marriage law in March 2016, which would have been 5 years ago? So you're pretty sure it wasn't just a new child marriage law here in New York past March 2016. So it was a little further back than that, right? So it's safe to say it's probably went back like the rest of these states did, which means back into the 50s and 60s and 70s, which means you've probably had child marriage being the starlit state that this is, that do everything and want to do everything. You probably had stopped child marriage the whole time, 60s, 70s, and the 80s, and the 90s. You probably had it the whole time. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure on that. I'm pretty confident on that one, buddy. Well, when did it pop up in New York? If it's not old, then when did it pop up then? Oh, 1992? 1992. So 2002. I'm giving out dates so you can get a mental visual of understanding. Wrap your mind around with good common sense. With when did this come out? So you think they just passed child marriage laws here in New York, 2002? 2012? Probably not. So not 2012. Not that. So when? They had it the whole time. They just got rid of it. So New York had child marriage the whole time. Yeah. Ain't no games being played, bro. Listen, I live in the real world. You live in the imaginary world. You're Zelda. I live in the real world. I'm a national leader, like a Malcolm X. You're a Zelda. Okay, we're in two different worlds, buddy. Ow. Okay, the bottom line is this. You've had child marriage since 1957. Through all the wars that you fought in America, through all the wars that you fought, you've had child marriage. You've had child marriage this whole time. So what does that tell me? What does that actually tell me? That you've never been a country of integrity. You've never been the country that you claim to be. And you think I'm going to let you assassinate my character? It's not going to happen, bro. That's why the sky will fall and your country will end before we let hypocrites that has had child marriage since 1957 sit up and try to incriminate somebody like they don't know what people want with children. You the first in line to know what people want with children. You can tell us better than anybody. Well, I just don't know what's all this hoopla about children. You want me to show you what a hoopla is? Hoopla is in 1957. You've had child marriage since 1957. That's all the times of all your favorite years in New York. All you New York, all LA, all child marriage. I know you don't like it, but it's real. And so for all these military, you need to realize and understand you've had child marriage the whole time you fought wars. All the times you were staked out over there in another country and all of that. All that stuff you were staked out and doing. All that stuff you was doing. Listen, you had child marriage the whole time. That's what you had, buddy. You had child marriage laws over here the whole time, and you should beat yourself up. Yes, you should, based on the fact that you were not educated on your own country, and you sit up and boast. You know how military are. They sit up and boast about who they are and how great they are, and you do you know who I am, and you know I fought for this country and all of this, but you did not fight for information. You did not fight for information on your country. Well, you went up and fought blindly, like a goon, like a blind goon, for this country, not knowing they had child marriage the whole time. Okay? And that's a reality that you have to accept. You can't listen, you can't sit up and who are you gonna blame? Okay? You have to realize, listen, man, listen, a man like me, you have to respect. You can't make this up, bro. For me to reveal this in this time, and for this to happen as it does, and for people to know the other patterns of my life, me as a Christian, my fasting, I'm not perfect. I spaz out. I spaz out on these ignorant people from time to time. Okay, I don't claim to be perfect, but God has still graced me, with His mercy and His blessings. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a soldier. You know what I'm saying? I believe in arming yourself, getting guns. I believe in that. I believe you should protect your family. I believe in all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? And patsy people, soft people, that's going to mean something else to them. And I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about that. Them the type of people that somebody can go in, walk in, and rape them in their family and everything. Talking about they Christians or whatever else. I'm American. I don't need my military protects me. My police protect me. Okay. Somebody can walk right in your house and sex you down right in front of your wife. Humiliate you in front of your wife. Okay? I should listen, man. Listen. I believe in arming yourself in a crazy time that we live in. I absolutely believe in that. And it's listen, it's shoot to kill. It ain't shoot to injure, no. It's shoot to kill. Head shots, chest shots, torso shots. That's what I'm talking about. And look, if it wouldn't be you, if you wouldn't be them, it'd be you. That's how you got to look at it. And people like me don't get played with. Not too long. Because the facts start coming out. You know what I'm saying? You can play with me for a while. Okay. Start playing around the ears of a tiger. See what happened to your arms. See what happened to your hands. Pulling back nubs. Playing with the ears of a tiger, you're going to pull back some nubs. Guarantee you that, buddy. You're going to pull back some nubs up in this mug. Yeah, a tiger is beautiful. A lion is beautiful. But lions will destroy you. You don't play with that. Oh, he's so cute. Bite your whole arm off. And some people here in this country are that goofy. They done played with lions and real beasts. Go look it up. Thought they gonna run around and play with the lions and tigers. And look where they at. In an early grave already. Listen, ain't no games being played, bro. I can't stress that enough. This is the wild, man. This is wildlife, man. This is wildlife out here in the real world. Okay? This is wildlife, bro. And ain't nobody playing but you. Because I already proved myself. I ain't got nothing else to prove. I'm the messenger that's revealing the defeat of your whole country, man. You can't be serious, man. This is real. This is what real messengers do. This is what real prophets do. How can I make this up, man? This is how you know I'm a prophet, not by all these mysterious prophecies. Look at this part. This is also the part how you know. This is also the tale, because the prophet comes, if you look in the Bible, not take my word for it, they're telling you about the sin that's the sin that's bringing you to destruction. That's part of the prophet too. That's part of it. And they're on it. They're stuck on it. That's the prophet part. It's not just these prophecies. Because there's many people that can say, well, I said these things. No, you ain't in my lane, buddy. You ain't in my lane till you start coming up, till God start revealing something to you that nobody knew. Okay? Not only do you reveal future stuff that people didn't know, you reveal things right here that people didn't know. Yeah. Because half of y'all didn't know this. I don't care what you say, you lying. You got a few that may have known because of people in their family or somebody in their community or something. But that's just a handful of people compared to 333 million people here in America. Man, half of these people didn't know this. None of them did. My mom didn't know. My dad didn't know. My family did not know. My friends didn't know. Everybody I know didn't know. So we're just the only ones that didn't know. That's what you're trying to get me to believe. Come on, man, stop playing. I'm constantly finding people on Facebook. So what does it all mean? It means your country is expired. It means your law system is expired. It lacks credibility and integrity. It can no longer judge anyone, and that's what it all means. That's the punchline. How you gonna judge? How you gonna have one thing that cannot contradict itself is a law system. A law system cannot contradict itself. It can't. It cannot contradict itself. A law system can't. Because how can you lock one man up for doing something that another man does that doesn't get locked up? He doesn't get locked up, but he does. So how's that a law system? How's that a system that says this is right and this is wrong when you see right here what is wrong is right and what is right is wrong? So how's it a law system then? How does it show us what's right and wrong? So guess what that means? Guess what the punchline is? Your law system in America, by standards of integrity and correction and right and wrong, on common sense on what is right and wrong, is invalid. All you have now is a literal corrupt system. Because look, and you want me to prove it to you? Okay, your last child marriage law was passed under Donald Trump's administration. Something no one wants to talk about. This is why I keep talking about it. Because no one is telling you this. Did you see this on CNN? They ain't tell you this, did they? Okay, this last child marriage law says no minimum age. That means any age, which covers any age you will feel is pedophilia. Okay? So it's any age that you consider pedophilia. This is why you're going through what you're going through. Because now with this new law, hear this part. With this new law, you can't say, well, we feel like they're older children. We feel like we're kind of attracted to those type of children too. Something goes through us too when we see those teenage girls. Which that's the truth for many of you. That's a 7 Al. Yeah, we feel something for them too. So we don't think that's really wrong. Okay, well then guess what? How about that July 1st, 2019 law where it says any age of children? How you feel about that? That's what the new law says specifically. I didn't add to it. It said this is the actual terms. No minimum age. Oh, that's not pedophilia. You're telling me that's not a pedophile law. Well, it covers any age. I mean, how low can you go? How low can you go? Oh, how low? This says no minimum age. This is passed under Donald Trump's administration. He didn't say anything about it, did he? Did he say anything about it? You didn't hear him say anything about it. He got a whole administration, and you don't think nobody brought them child marriage laws to him that was passed under his administration? You don't think nobody passed that, ran that by him? And yet, you don't think that that's a contradiction. That's a solid contradiction in your law system. It is. Because whatever age you lock somebody else up for being a child molester, that same age is being sexed down in the new child marriage law that says no minimum age of child. So you're locking up this guy for whatever age he's with, right? You can't be slow following my videos. That's what I always say. You're locking this guy up for having sex with whatever age it was. That same age is covered in the new law passed under Donald Trump's administration. This new law says any age, basically. So whatever age that the child molester is with, the new age allows you to marry that age, being that the law says no minimum age. Don't you see that? And that is where, friends, you have no valid law system. Yeah. And listen. God knows the difference between a dumb country and a filthy country. You're not a dumb country, buddy. Don't insult my intelligence. You know that's pedophilia. Don't sit here and play with me. Don't sit here like you don't know what this is. Oh, well, gee, I just don't know why they did that. You know how some them Republican conservative women, well, I just don't know why they would do that. Well, I'm not asking you whether you knew or not why. That's not what I'm covering here. This is how you have to talk to people like that. You have to show them that what they say in the first place is stupid. Well, I didn't ask you whether you knew or you're sidestepping the facts. The facts is it's there. Okay? And it's a contradiction to your law system locking one guy up over here and then another guy is doing the same thing by marriage. A little league marriage. Come on, guys, we got a little league marriage now. Let's ask these Republicans how they feel about little league marriage. Well, you got major league marriage, major league baseball, you got little leagues. You got little league marriage. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. You know how the pep talk people talk. Come on, guys. Little league marriage. This is Little League marriage, guys. And you thought you seen the last worst thing that Donald Trump could do. Now here comes something else. God, this guy he doesn't stop, does it? The last child marriage law was passed under his administration. Yeah, I know. No one wants to talk about this part. Where here's something else that he's done. Where his administration passed child marriage laws. Here's another part now. Here's something else. Here's something else. Here's something else. Child marriage laws under Donald Trump's administration. Now he'll say, well, I didn't know. Well, look, I'm sure you have staff that informs you of all laws, right? That's passed under your administration. So you're also insulting my intelligence too. You have to talk to them like this too. Anytime somebody says something stupid, you got to talk to them like they're stupid. You got to. That's how you correct them in the first place. Then you say what you got to say. Okay, I didn't ask you if you passed a law or not. Okay, I didn't ask. You got to talk to them like this. Because they're trying to sidestep you with that. They're trying to Jedi mind trick you. I didn't ask you whether you passed the law or not. I don't care if you passed the law or not. I didn't ask you that. The law is there. And you should have known about this law. And you got such a big mouth about everything else. But yet when it comes to laws passed under your administration, you say virtually nothing. That's kind of remarkable. It's almost magical how your mouth is totally closed on child marriage laws passed under your administration. But yet you talk about the likes of LeBron James and Rosie O'Donnell. You got times to talk about them. But you don't talk about laws, which is your lane. Basketball is not your lane. Rosie O'Donnell is not your lane, right? So you're talking about stuff outside of your lane, but laws are your lane, right? Laws that's passed, that's your lane. But you don't talk about that, do you? But you take the time to talk about LeBron James and Rosie O'Donnell. Now you see what I'm saying. Big as his mouth is, it'd be one thing if he was kind of laid back, right? But big as his mouth is, though, with all these rallies, doing more rallies than you ever seen the president do that many rallies? You ain't never seen the president do that many rallies, have you? I mean, even while he was, I think even when he was in the White House, he was doing rallies. Maybe, right? He never stopped doing them, did he? He never stopped the rallies, right? You never heard anything about the child marriage laws passed under his administration in these rallies, right? But he got time to talk about LeBron James and Rosie O'Donnell and the likes of anybody in America. He can talk about everybody. And the bottom line is, this is where he is not a victim. Well, you're not no victim in this case, sir. What I'm talking about, this ain't fake news either. Ow. Okay, you're not a victim here. No one's victimizing you. No one's demonizing you. We want to know why you as an American president, which has a full staffed administration, which informs you of laws, why you were not informed of these laws and showed your protest towards these laws. This is what we want to know. That's holding you to be accountable. As a president, they ain't demonizing you. That ain't nobody persecuting you. Ain't nobody persecuting you. We holding you to be the president, sitting up here behind a presidential seat like a big dog, but ain't one. Man, how you competent and you got child marriage laws passed and you come and go out the White House and you ain't even know it? You ain't even know it. That's what you got me to believe. Okay, so if it was me, I would cover my bases. Once it's already passed, I would cover my bases. Even if he might say, well, I didn't want nobody to know it was passed under my administration. Well, I would cover my bases and say, I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's what I would do instead of just leaving it be And then people like me find it out and wonder why you didn't say anything. But you got all the smoke for everything else. But laws and things like practical stuff in your world. You feel me? Nah, man. This is what I'm saying. And it ain't only him. It's you too as the American community. You sitting up here walking around, waltzing around, talking about whatever you talking about. And you didn't even know the last child marriage law. Now you see how it's all to fit this picture? The truth is now it's coming up. It's catching up, right? See, that's the prophetic. I've been talking about this for months and months and months. Now it's registering to you, right? Now you're getting it. You're getting it now. The last child marriage law was passed under Donald Trump's administration. Now you see how it's really looking here. Because now you're seeing him in all these other situations. Where now he was the second president to be indicted and 30 counts of business fraud. Now it's starting to add up. Now you're seeing all this character of this person that you had in the White House add up. Now you see this and how it's believable now to you. Being this season of all this other stuff going on. That's what I'm trying to show you, man. I've been trying to tell you this the whole time. The child marriage law was passed under Donald Trump's administration, and you as a community said nothing about it. You to blame too, because you got all the protests for animal rights and oxygen rights and everything else. You got all these protests, all these animal rights people, and you got all these other people out here, tree rights and all this kind of stuff. And yet you got child marriage laws passed in your country under Donald Trump's administration and nobody said nothing. This is what I'm saying, bro. Some of y'all have more compassion on animals than you have on human beings. And let's keep it real. Look how you treat each other. But you treat your dogs with the best, upright respect. She must have the best meat. In fact, I fry my dog a steak off every once in a while. I know some of these Americans do it. Oh, so you ain't never treated your dog to a steak? Come on. But you can't treat the homeless man on the street to a steak, can you? Meanwhile, even if the homeless people wanted to work, there's not enough jobs for all Americans to work at one time. Oh, you didn't know that? There's not enough jobs for us all to work at one time. We all can't work at one time. So what are we doing as a vision? So what are we doing as a plan? What's the plan, in other words? Well, everybody can't work at one time. So it's an illusion that we all could be working at one time. That can't happen. Not here in America. But yet you won't treat that guy to a steak based on that information. But you treat your dog to a steak. Yet child marriage is here past 3 years ago under the Donald Trump administration. Why are you treating your dog to a steak? It's a shame. And this is what I'm talking about. So I'm in deep trouble. How am I in deep trouble? You can't be serious, man. Listen, man. Listen. I'm way away from deep trouble, buddy. In fact, I'm so far away from deep trouble, I'm ruling. Sorry to inform you. I am 1,000,000 miles away from deep trouble. You, on the other hand, are in the middle of deep trouble. Well, if the people around you don't get you, God gonna get you. You can't listen, man. You can't come around here acting like John Wayne for kids, acting like some Chuck Norris guy for kids. All this fake stuff. And here you are with child marriage dating back to 1957. I live with military. Military doesn't intimidate me. Okay? That's the difference. You have people that live among military and you have people that are intimidated by military. You have people that live around police and you have people who are intimidated by police. And that's the difference. I'm not intimidated by none of those institutions. They're people just like me, and I found this out already. You are yet to find it out. That's why you walk around intimidated all the time. They think just like you. They have values just like you. Their boo-boo stink just like yours do. Okay? You got child marriage here. And you know, the honorable police and the honorable military, what you should do is you should quit your jobs. Yes, you should. Yes, you should. And you'll say, my family, I don't care about that. I don't care about it because you got to look at it like this is not even an option for me. This is not an option. Why is it an option? How is it an option for me to work for a child marriage community? Which one do you choose? Which CM do you choose? This is the message I got yesterday. Which CM do you choose? Which one do you lock up? Which one you're for? Which one you lock up? The CM that stands for child molester or child marriage? It's funny, ironic how they both got CM, don't it? Child molester, that's the CM abbreviation. Child marriage, that's the CM too. Just so happened, huh? CM. Which CM are you for? Because if you're with America, you're with the child marriage people, buddy. If you're against prosecuting child molesters, no matter what part of the country they're in or what they're doing. See, listen. You can't be, and I'm going to do a video about this. You can't be an officer of death. If you're for us, you're about prosecuting everybody. You can't be an officer of death. And I can't wait. I can't wait. This is going to be my next message today. You can't be an officer of death, offering death to child molesters, right? Hear me out real good. You can't be an officer of death, offering up, making these threats at child molesters, right? Right? But yet you are not the full officer of death to all those who do molest children, whether it be by law, government, or any type of other institution or walk of life. You have to, if you're a true officer of death, and this is your principle, you must feel this way about everybody. And what we find out is when I talk about this about child molesters in the government, because I covered that the last child marriage law covers any age, which is any age you will feel is an age that a person will be a child molester to interact with sexually. So the last child marriage law was no minimum age, meaning any age. So that covers the child molesting law, ages, right? We can agree on that, right? We can agree on that. The fact that they say any age you should feel that's pedophilia any way it go. I don't care what they talk about. I don't care what they say. You should feel that way, right? Okay, so why you don't feel like they should die? I heard the rapper Fat Joe talk about, well, everybody, you know how I feel. Anybody that molests children, yeah, they should die. I think they should die. Well, how do you feel about the child marriage in your country? How do you feel about, Fat Joe, how do you feel about child marriage in America? You got 43 states of child marriage. You are an officer of death when you say, well, I should feel like a child molester should die. And you know what I mean when I say an officer of death? You're proclaiming in a law that a child molester should die, right? Okay, how come you ain't proclaiming that law when I tell you this? Or do you know this? I'm pretty sure you do with these politics out here. Okay, so they got child marriage laws in America. Right here in New York, the age of consent is at 17, Fat Joe. The age of consent is at 17. Is that adult vagina or child vagina? This is just a real question, bro. Is it adult vagina or child vagina? Is 17 years old a child vagina? Yes or no? It's child vagina, right? So then that an adult is having sex with a child vagina, right? So what? So the age of consent right here in New York is doing what you're talking about. Yeah. And yet these are officers of death that only talk to one kind of pedophile. You're only talking to one that fits the ones that you don't like, the sketchy ones. You're not talking about the age of consent at 17 in New York, and that's child vagina that adults are having sex with, and I'm pretty sure people here in New York are doing it. And let's keep in mind, this law is not it doesn't discriminate with sexual orientation. So that means fully grown women are having sex with 17-year-old girls too. You heard me right. Fully grown women, lesbians, having sex with 17-year-old girls right here in New York. Grown men having sex with 17-year-old boys. Well, the laws, the age of consent here is 17. It does not specify sexual orientation. And I got to do a video about this. That's a 7 hour. Yeah, now it's pissing you off, ain't it? Yeah. It takes me showing you, unfortunately, the gay side and the lesbian side to show you how disgusting it is. I have to show you the lesbian side, how a 70-year-old woman can be sexually engaging a 17-year-old girl. Yeah. For money, she could be doing it. She could be with some disgusting 55-year-old woman for the money, for bags. A gay man could be 60 years old having sex with a 17-year-old boy. How y'all feel about that? How y'all feel about that? How do you feel about the thought of a gay man, 60 years old, with a 17-year-old boy here in New York? Well, the age of consent is 17. You don't like that, do you? What's the difference? What's the difference when straight people are the ones that's really doing it? What's the difference? For a 60-year-old man to be with a 17-year-old girl here in New York, that's the age of consent. What's the difference? For a 60-year-old woman to be with a 17-year-old boy, what's the difference? That's the age of consent, guys. It's meant for adults to be able to engage 17-year-old children. Now, what if a gay man was doing it? You don't like it, do you? You don't like because of the stereotypes. You hear this part? Because of the stereotypes, you don't like the idea of a gay man being with a 17-year-old boy, do you? Because you already feel like they halfway perverted and they prey on young people, don't you? So now you get the picture of how young it really is when I show you gay people, don't you? Yeah. Now how you feel about a 17-year-old girl interacting with a fully grown 55-year-old woman? Let's just say 69. She's a 69-year-old woman with your 17-year-old niece out here. How would you feel about that? But see, you can't be an officer of death only talking to the sketchy guy. That's all I'm saying. And that's what I take it as. A lot of times, and I'm not picking on Fat Joe, it's just the fact that I heard him say, I feel like child molesters should die, right? I just happened to hear someone else show his message. I didn't go looking up Fat Joe. I don't look at secular stuff anymore. But I just couldn't help but notice that's what he said, and I wasn't really looking for it even. Well, I knew what they was going to be talking about when they talking about Afrika Bambaataa, and I knew where that was going to go, but I just really wasn't looking for really any rapper per se or something to talk about it, and Fat Joe said, basically, this is what he feels. But yeah, it's only implied, and this is what I don't like about the hood. It's only implied to the guy you esteem as sketchy or the woman you esteem as sketchy. It's only them. Because when I show you who's doing it, including NYPD having sex with a 15-year-old girl, right? Which is illegal. No one in New York said nothing. When I show you a Louisiana cop having made a woman perform a sex act, go look it up. Louisiana cop made a woman perform a sex act on her 1-year-old child. Go look it up. No one said anything. So you're an officer of death to only wayward people in your community. And half the times y'all don't have that part right. But when we really show you people who have done the most graphic things, You do nothing as a community. You've proved it. New York, right here, where Fat Joe is at, said nothing about the two NYPD cops that had sex with a 15-year-old girl. The whole community said nothing. But yet this is the same community who says death to pedophiles. Then what's that then? What's that, guys? Those are pedophiles. So you can't be an officer of death not being the full lane. You feel me? You can't not listen, because people like me gonna call you on it. I'm gonna say, okay, well then here's people that's doing it. You feel me? Because I'm already like on a warpath concerning this. And then when I hear people say this, I'm like, well, okay, then you should be riding with me then. You should be talking about this government. You should be talking about this stuff that's going on. But yet people just like to choose these wayward people, bro. And already they don't like them. Hear this part. The people that they choose to call pedophiles or whatever, they already don't like them. It's already something sketchy about them that they don't like, right? So it's part of that too. When we see that, because when we show you the real pedophiles, you do nothing. So if you was truly motivated by catching pedophiles, then why don't you respond there? So you're kind of motivated by the fact that these misfits who you choose out of your community don't really fit in with you. That's part of the motivation. Well, then if it's not, then why when we show you the true pedophiles, 43 states of child marriage here in America, 43 states of child marriage right now, nothing happens. No protest, no community, no nothing. Yet this is the same community talking about the officers of death to pedophiles. But we don't see you show up when we talk about this, do we? You know why? Because it doesn't fit the pedophile you're used to catching. That's true. It doesn't fit the pedophile that you're used to looking at face to face. You want it to fit your narrative. You want it to fit the sketchy person. It has to look like the sketchy person. Oh, keep it 100, man. That's what it is. You more after the misfits, and it's easy for you to just go ahead and throw away them. If it's somebody that halfway look like it. If they halfway somebody you don't kind of like anyway, it's easy for you to go ahead and put that on them, man. Oh, come on, let's be 100. It's easy for you to go ahead and do it. Yeah. But let it be one of your own. That's what it's coming to. You're gonna be surprised when this is all said and done, how many people have really messed with these children. You're gonna be so shocked. And you should be already. I mean, 43 states of child marriage dating back to 1957. You should be shocked. Because this is all the alpha males, all these fraternity people. The Freemasons sit up here and watch this happen. You know, the Illuminati and all these other little secret societies, they've been here the whole time. Drinking coffee, eating muffins, sitting up drinking, slurping down coffee. Slurping up coffee. Hyped up on coffee. But yet you got child marriage here. But yet they talking about they got 33 degrees of masonry. Man, come on, stop playing with me, buddy. Well, guess what? I don't care nothing about your 33 degrees of masonry. When you got child marriage in 43 states, I don't care about it. You got all these little commercials showing you interacting with children and donating to children, yet you're not enlightened enough in your mind or aware of your community or cultured in your community to know that you have child marriage in your community in America. What kind of religion, what kind of group is that? What kind of enlightenment of 33 degrees of masonry is that? Huh? What kind of enlightenment of 33 degrees is that? Man, come on, stop playing with me, man. So you see, in the end, the true enlightened ones are, after all, once again, the Christians. Well, who else did this? I'm not a Mason. I'm not an Illuminati member. I am a Christian. And once again, it's God's true people that have showed you the foolishness in your community. That's who it is at the end of the day. It's God's people. Therefore, it's God. Once again, revealing to you People who claim to know God, what they doing? Sitting back with 43 states of child marriage since 1957. That's what they're doing. Yeah, that's what they're doing. And you let them rule over you. You let these entertainers and all these people rule over you, and you got child marriage here. Okay, you can't do it all. Somebody got to apply themselves to be seekers of information and everything like that. You can't listen, you can't do it all. You can't work and do it everything. So we all play our position. No one played the position of this position of knowing that 43 states of child marriage was here, but yet they think they're superior to me. That's what I'm trying to show you. They're not superior to me. Okay? Well, no. Come on, buddy. No. Nope. I don't care what you say. At the end of the day, there's no justification for a whole culture not knowing this information. There's no justification. And there's no justification for you having child marriage since 1957. There's no justification for Donald Trump saying nothing about this when he's big-mouthed about everything. The last child marriage law was passed under his administration. How I'm going to die? If anything, I'm going to live and everybody else going to die. But come on, man. Listen, it's too far of a stretch. It's too far of a stretch. You're doing nothing. I'm doing everything. You're not, listen, come on, man. Listen. If it was any other issue, it would be where it really wouldn't put me in this position, right? But the fact that it's your family values, it's no way in the world you could sit up here and act like it don't matter when these people out here are crazy concerning children, literally mental, right? And you can't act nonchalant now. Now we're showing you who's really doing it. You could try all the psychological foolishness. What you care about, psychological foolishness or child marriage in 43 states? Psychological foolishness or child marriage since 1957 in America? Psychological foolishness or child marriage passed under the Donald Trump administration? That's what we talking about. So now you're trying to play, like, I guess you're treating me like I'm a punk. Because listen, nobody don't care nothing about that, man. Listen, all that stuff, we already know what you're doing. Ain't none of that, listen, that's cornball stuff, just like you're a cornball. You got child marriage here, you a cornball, man. Okay? I rule. I rule by default, whether you like it or not. Okay? Based on information. Look, I'm totally aware of your community and you're not. How can you rule over me? Imagine that. I'm aware of your society and you're not, but you're ruling over me. But I'm aware of the community. It doesn't make sense. And this is what you've done to many people that are educated and more informed than you. You try to bury them because they're more, in fact, they should be on top and you should be submitted and serving. Many people believe you've done this to the Africans because they had more information than you and you should have been submitted to them just like you should be submitted to me. When you got 43 states of child marriage, I should be ruling over you. Well, how can you rule over me? Make it make sense. Now you see what's happening. It's meant to happen. I should be ruling. How can you rule over me, bro? That's police included. How the police gonna rule over me? That's how you know I'm a ruler. Because the police can't even rule over me. How you gonna rule over me, bro? In reality, when you take your badge off, how can you rule over me? Whether you got your badge on or off, I rule over you. You get the difference. You could take it all off. And how you rule over me? Make it make sense, bro. Oh, because you're a police officer when you go to work. But when you're off of work, you don't rule, do you? I rule 24/7. With this information, you got child marriage in 43 states. You had child marriage since 1957, and Barack Obama didn't tell you. Joe Biden didn't tell you. Trump didn't tell you. When the last child marriage law was passed under the Trump administration, none of these rappers didn't tell you. Jay-Z didn't tell you. Beyonce didn't tell you. None of these entertainers didn't tell you nothing. How can you think you can rule over me? In your right logical mind, when, like I said, Your society goes crazy for children. I didn't make it up. That's how they are. So based on their values, how do I not rule over you when I reveal that you got child marriage in 43 states? Now you see what I'm saying. This is what I've been trying to show you the whole time. You know what I'm saying? So whether you accept it or not, based on reality, I rule. I'm not trying to. I'm just telling you. You can't, in other words, be over me at all, bro. No. And your system contradicts itself. You locking up people over here, but you have a new child marriage law that allows them to have sex with any age of children. Any age. So any age that you lock somebody up for being with, that age is allowed to be married to in the new child marriage law. Bro, if you don't tell these people to sit down, bro, that's what I'm trying to show you. If you don't tell these people to sit down, they're going to cause their own deaths. Okay? Because it's playtime is over. Goofiness is over, bro. Goofiness is over. Because like I showed you, man, it's already enough information and evidence that you are a country that loves children and go crazy for children. We got that part right. Okay, so what's your response to child marriage in 43 states in America? What's your response to child marriage since 1957? The same country that's all crazy for children. Where's talking about you believe a child molester should die? What is your response to child marriage since 1957 in America? I'm showing you. I rule, bro. Listen, this is God's business. And I'm sorry to tell you, it's not a movement for everybody. It's a movement for me because of what they did against me and the games they played against me. If you knew everything they did against me, you would be glad that this is happening as it is. But you don't know the whole story, so you can't congratulate me for winning this victory, for winning this war against people who labeled me as some sketchy pervert guy. And then I'm the one that find out and reveal. This is how I know God got a sense of humor. I'm the one that reveals that y'all got child marriage, the same guy that you labeled as sketchy and all of that. You telling me God ain't got a sense of humor? Well, I'm the same guy you labeled all this stuff. I'm the same dude. Any food know my life. Listen, man, I'm with fully grown women over here, man. I ain't never thinking, and no day of the week am I thinking about nobody's children. That's the difference between me and you. You know, your country got child marriage in 43 states. Somebody thinking about it. And it ain't me. It's your country. That's who's thinking about it. You know who else is thinking about it? Whoever passed that child marriage law under Donald Trump's administration. You know who else is thinking about it? All these people that kept child marriage alive since 1957. And you passed your last child marriage law, like I said, 3 years ago. That's who's thinking about it, buddy. Okay? Me, on the other hand, I got a fully grown woman. And she's not a beard, which means she's not a disguise for me to be someone else sexually. Yeah, I know how you think, suckers. Yeah, I don't use beards. I don't treat my woman as a beard and then I go do other devious things. But this is just for the family. This is just for the people. I've never lived for you. I never lived for you. You know, women are, listen, in my particular situation, women are hard to find on, I like people, let me explain something about me. Women are hard to find. First of all, women are hard to find on dating sites. Everybody know that. Okay? It's all a whole bunch of games. I have always liked women more than being with men. And even when I was with men, I went and told people in the gay community these very words. I've always kept to that, no matter what I did. I've always liked women. I never stopped. Okay? I never said, well, even when I thought about being with a guy and whatever, and whatever it was, I've never stopped and said, I just want to be with a guy. I never said that. I never dedicated myself totally to that perspective. That's first thing you need to know. Second thing you need to know, I was turned out as a kid between 9 and 10 years old and I lost my virginity to an older cousin that was a boy. So some would say I was naturally inclined to experiment with a male. Some would say I was naturally inclined to do that. Although I do have a 16-year-old son, and I've been married. Okay, I divorced my wife back in 2008. Okay, so, but I can show you my life and show you why my stuff makes sense. You feel me? Lost my virginity when I was 9 and 10 to an older boy cousin, had sex and everything, right? Okay, got turned out again when I was in my 30s, 35, 36. And it was a black guy. Both cases, obviously my family's a black kid. And that was the case. It wasn't no white guy that turned me out. So for the community to know, it was actually black guys. Okay, you can get something from that. So that's just what you need to understand. My personal situation. But now you see me. So I say all that to say, based on my life, I don't use beards. Which a beard, for people that don't understand, is maybe a guy that dates a woman, but he really wants men, but he dates her for the community. I never did that. If I was with men, I was with men. I didn't use beards, even when I loved women the whole time. You see what I'm saying? So I've never been that type of guy. I don't know what walk of life do that, but the walk of life I come from is 100. Like if I do something, I do something. I never hid it. You feel me? So, so I'm just saying all that to say, I cover my bases. It's people out here that want to split hairs. They'll see you with a woman, but they want to split hairs where maybe that she's a beard. Well, the whole time I've ever been with men, I've always wanted like women. I always have. Always did then. Okay? Okay, so that's what you need to know. Thinking that I'm using women as a beard for men when I always like women more. Okay? Everybody has a unique story. That's my unique story. Okay? Like I said, lost my virginity when I was 9 or 10 to an older boy cousin. Got turned out when I was in my 30s. In a situation where somebody made a move on me so quick, it happened. And I just was tipsy and drunk, drinking 2/5 of vodka right here in New York. So it was somebody right here in New York. So that's how that happened. You know what I'm saying? So for people that say I did it for money or did it for some other reason or something like that, nah. You seen me start hustling after I got turned out. You know what I mean? So that's my story, man. So before you assume, man, just like people say, when you assume, you make an ass out of yourself. Just ask the right questions. That's all you got to do. I'm 100. If I want to know something, I'm going to ask all the right questions. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to assume just like I'm Albert Einstein, like I just know. You feel me? Everyone's story is unique, man. Now you see. And so that's how my situation happened. So I say all that to say, my current situation is not no disguise for me to be a deviant of any kind or to deviate from a woman in any way. You know what I'm saying? That's what lame suckers would do. When I've always liked women, they will say that, and I've always liked women more than a man. You know what I'm saying? So, and obviously I've been with fully grown women. For people that don't know my track record, go check my sex history. Most women that I've been with are always older than me, including the woman I'm with now. She may look younger than me, but she's older than me. Okay, so yeah. That's the way I like it, and I can explain it because I like whining and dining. I like women that like to, maybe have some, relax, chill, eat, listen to some music. And it's only fully grown women that understand whining and dining. You know what I'm saying? So I can tell you, not only do I say I'm with older women, I can tell you the reasons so you can believe it. Okay? With the reasons, you believe it. So that's what I'm used to, bro. I'm used to fully grown women with their own place, with their own things. We wine and dine. You feel me? I'm used to that. And I've always been the younger in those situations, the younger companion. Okay, so that's my particular story. So you don't even try to get me mixed. See how it's the complete opposite. You feel me? And there's so many people that can vouch for that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's death to my enemies, man. You know, look, the worst thing you could have tried to do was get me on sexual integrity when I'm with fully grown women. You feel me? Fully grown women with jobs, money, cars, apartments. The worst thing you could have do was try to play around my integrity with that when I'm used to cougars. I'm used to older women. Can't be serious, bro. Like, and look, I don't feel sorry for him. Why should I? You don't play with nobody's integrity like